This is Deborah Johnson for Women at Halftime, and I'm passionate about helping women use their untapped skills, resources, and talents to create their ideal work and lifestyle, making a difference in their second half. Well, hello, here we are. I'm with Greg this week, and we are excited to bring you this episode, this show, Ideas for Holiday Giving with Adult Children. And this will include some of the grandchildren because of some of our ideas. And these are just ideas and to where you are in life. But sometimes it's, you have challenges, whether, what to give or how much to give. And so we're going to ask some of those questions. And to remind you, as this airs, the summit is out. So make sure that you at least check that out. It's got some great reviews, and I'm really, really excited. It's an allegory, which is a story within a story. So, which is really great. It's a really fun gift book as well. So you might want to check that out. So we are going to move on with this show. And I wanted to start, Greg. Greg and I are on once a month together, which makes it really fun because we kind of share the load a little bit here of content and of what we can bring. And it's, just kind of fun to have that because we've been together a lot of years. So it just gives us a lot of, we've gone through a lot of years of gift giving and seeing what will work and what we should not give. But I wanted to start out with this little question and realize also with every single episode there is an article. So I'm going to put some links. If we mention something, I'm going to put some links to help you. So make sure you click on that. But what does Christmas mean to your family? And I think that's an important question to ask. We celebrate Christmas, and what does it mean? So why don't you elaborate on that little question, Greg?
Well, when we were thinking about that, the talk was about what to give adult children. And,
Yes.
When we were laughing about the fact that some of the body wash and toothpaste that we'd put in stockings years earlier were still in the boys' rooms. So that was our hint that maybe that wasn't the most special thing for them. So we took a step back and you would go, well, before we give anything, we should probably, explore, what is the reason you get together at Christmas?
Right.
And, some of the reasons could be just tradition, a chance to have family over for food.
Right.
And gift giving is kind of a light thing.
Right.
Could be, though, that your gift giving time is a little bit more significant and you want to
Right.
communicate love or thoughtfulness.
Right.
And if that's the case, then that kind of leads into our next
Right.
thing. And that is before you start giving gifts, think about what expresses love to your kids. And we're talking adult kids. So we're assuming your kids are in their 20s or 30s. And you're no longer getting them bikes with training wheels. Dollhouses are out.
I want one of those, though.
So what communicates love? And we appreciate something Gary Chapman wrote a long time ago, and that is the 5 languages of love.
Right.
And as I recall, those were gifts, touch, time, gifts of service, and words of encouragement.
Right.
And so if those are kind of our parameters of what might make a nice gift,
Right.
it could go beyond, something, like the newest gadget.
Right.
So that's going to kind of kick off what we talk about today.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is a very important, because when we talk about the question, what will add joy to their life? Well, it's usually like gifts of service. Like, you hardly need to give me anything, but I tell you what, you take out that trash, you do some of the, that means a lot. That communicates love to me. That really does communicate love.
Yeah, when I anticipate Debbie's needs and serve her, that communicates love.
Yeah.
More than getting her a new blouse.
Right.
Which, by the way, don't you like this one?
I know. Yeah. So He's one of my best. I always say he's one of my best shoppers because he'll spend more money than I will. So anyway, so what will add joy? What would ease their life? I mean, we're going to talk about a couple things there, and we are going to give some specifics here. And what would communicate? We've been at their stage before.
That's that's an important aspect.
Yeah.
As you think about your kids, empathy sort of matters. If you can remember back having. 3 kids, all under 12, and between all of the sports and school and activities that they've got, and the limited amount of vacation time that we used to have, squeezing in activities for family is kind of hard.
Yeah.
So if you use a little empathy, you can maybe come up with some ideas.
Right. And also not only time, but affordability. And there are many now that have grandparents, and you've got a little extra cash that we never had when our kids were coming up.
Yeah, there's some empathy. Remember how little cash you had when you were in your 30s.
I tell you what, it was scrimping along as we were, because I decided to work part-time. And I was able to be flexible that way. But, we were pretty much self-employed with, paying our own benefits and everything. So it was, we did not have a lot of extra just cash laying around. So we're going to kind of hit on a little bit of that too, that would just at least to help, no matter what your budget is, no matter what you want to give. So, but I'm going to start with a couple really practical things that are kind of out of the box. I hate just using that word because it's used so much, but just a little bit that you might not have thought about are silver collectibles. And you had mentioned this, and we thought about this as an idea. We might put that off, but what were the reasons that you thought about that?
Remember, I used to be a financial advisor, and I still spend a lot of time studying finances. And inflation's kind of creeping up on us.
Right.
And in an inflationary environment, things that are real tend to grow in value. And your kids are not going to be able to save tons of money. So, one idea for silver would be you could get them a 100-ounce bar. Well, at $23 an ounce, that's $2,300. That's probably out of your range.
Right.
But you can find, a collectible silver dollar, let's say. And that silver dollar might have an ounce of silver on it. So it may be $23 at face value, but as a collectible, it may be worth twice that much.
Right.
And collectibles tend to hold their value and grow in inflationary times. Right. So, that's something that they wouldn't buy themselves. Right. It's an example of a gift.
Right.
And that leads to a second one we were kind of thinking about, and that is cyber coins, tokens.
Right.
They're divisible by either 1 million or 10 million times.
Right.
So you could give some altcoin in a small piece of one, $50 a one.
Right.
And the way you would give this is you'd open up a wallet, and you can go on YouTube and figure out how to. Some of my favorite wallets are Exodus and MetaMask. So open up an Exodus wallet, and then transfer in $50. Buy an altcoin. Figure out one that you like. I'm not going to make recommendations on this video, but you can buy part of one, and then transfer that to a flash drive. And again, real easy to do. And then put this flash drive in their stocking. And one of the things cool about this, as opposed to buying lotto tickets, is there's actual value to an altcoin.
Right.
But these altcoins could go up 1,000 times.
Right.
So, a $50 gift could be worth $50,000 in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
That could also be worth $50 in 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So, you don't know. But it's something that they probably wouldn't buy themselves. It makes you look kind of creative, and and that you were cool, thinking about, stuff that's current.
Yeah.
So.
And get some help with this if you need help. I tell you what, I have a neighbor that he would come over in a heartbeat and help me put something like that together if I didn't have you. And he's 31. He's a guy, we always talk about, he's an avid reader. And boy, he would get on my computer and just help me out if I needed to help. And you're going to find maybe one of your neighbors, or you're going to find, someone else to be able to help you with. Because, technology, I'm speaking on this coming up, it has its challenges. And you're going, oh my gosh, I'm crossing my eyes thinking about, I know what a flash drive is. What's this? Well, listen to our episode on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and you'll understand at least a little bit more, because it's really where our society is. But it's a great gift idea and very creative. And I tell you what, it holds its value better than body wash. When we found, I don't know how much body wash. We found those little sample sizes that we found in our son's room when he moved. I thought,
yeah, we thought they would be fun for travel use.
I know,
but apparently not.
Apparently they were put in a drawer and forgotten about. How about that? Amazing with sons. What happens with sons? Anyway, okay, so let's move ahead. We have a lot to laugh about.
Let's talk about like words of encouragement.
Yeah,
just as a topic.
Okay. It really needs to be, I think, with somebody that has that sort of love language, because it could be interpreted wrong. Thank you. And that happened because that's kind of what I thought like part of our family would really enjoy, and it was not received as well as I expected. So I think you have to be at a certain stage, but encouragement can come in a different way too. With service.
So one year we tried to write like a whole letter of how much we appreciated our sons, and it was a little bit over the top.
Yeah, because
we're throttling back the idea. How about a Christmas card?
Yeah.
Where you just think back on something they overcame this year, and you tell them how proud you are. The strange thing about life is adults still value the approval of their parents.
Right. Yeah.
And
amazing.
I was always surprised by that in my financial practice. It just how many times I'd be working with couple in their 50s, and part of their investment strategy was making sure their parents would approve it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I didn't see that one coming. But your kids, value your approval, especially if it's not just fluff, that it's sincere. Yeah. 3 sentences in a Christmas card talking about something happened recently and how you are proud of the way they overcame or persevered or something like that.
And that's a really good point, because we have started doing that, and you kind of took over those cards, because I was writing this letter. Me and words, I was just, and they'd stop to read all of this, and okay, so it was a little over the top. I'm very expressive, getting into all of these little areas.
Well, you got to remember, not all people like to read 2 pages.
No. Was it 2? It probably was. I know we are. That will be some of the funny things we remember coming up. But yeah, just the thought of that. I think it doesn't matter what their love language. If you want to be able to express that appreciation, I think it is appreciated. Just to know that you are thinking of them, just like getting a little birthday card or something like, and especially if you put a little money in it, that's always a plus. I loved getting the one from, like, your grandmother would do that. She would put, ooh, what is there? Is this mine or yours? That was kind of the thing.
So what's another category of love?
Okay, category of love,
time.
I guess. Time. Yeah. So if you want to give time, or grandkids.
Offering to babysit while they with a dinner card if the kids happen to be by. Yeah. So they can go out to a nice steakhouse, and you'll watch the kids. And again, remember the empathy. They may be able to afford the dinner out, but finding a trustworthy babysitter. So, combining that kind of stuff.
Right.
Another one I think we came up with was, a lot of people, with young kids would love to, like, for instance, take them to Disney World.
Right.
But if you live in Oklahoma, Disney World's a 2-day drive. And you remember, they don't have a lot of vacation time. Mm-hmm. So offering to pick up the airfare for a family of 4 to get to and from Disney World.
Yeah.
Or pick your, their favorite destination.
Right.
But
a zoo.
Helping them save time.
Yeah.
That's a gift of time.
That's a gift of time. And, we were thinking through some of the things that one of our sons likes to go camping. Well, what can we give them that they just love to do that, and they've got one daughter that would just love to go horseback riding. So, little things like that. And when I'm thinking back of some of the family vacations, we camped a lot because I think we stayed in one hotel one night when I was growing up, and it was in Death Valley when it was like 120 degrees out or something. But otherwise, we always camped. Great memories with that. But there wasn't a lot of extra.
You just read something recently that camping was one of the best family bonding
times,
activities.
Yeah, so. And who would have thought that? But really, we had great memories too with my sisters and I. We never felt like we were lacking anything. And my dad was a fireman, so he would have, a series of days, and we would drive everywhere. There wasn't. We didn't do a lot of extravagant things, but boy, we took a lot of hikes. But horseback riding, I tell you what, with the fees that have gone up everywhere, it just adds on all of those
and I think where we're going with this is one of the things that you can give adult kids is time with their kids.
Yes.
Because if you think back on growing up, the times you spent with your parents doing activities.
Yes.
Not necessarily going somewhere,
right?
But if you were doing something like fishing or camping and going to look for wood and making your own fire, and it's doing things together that ends up building a family. So if you can give something that allows them to do that, and it'd be great if you get invited along,
right?
But chances are that's probably not going to happen. So the next best thing you can do is to give them that opportunity.
Right. And we did that for our parents though too. We bought them so we could spend, because when you're at a certain stage,
when they got older, they didn't need any. Her dad did not need another pair of pants.
No.
Didn't need another shirt.
Nope.
For sure, not another tie. No. So we switched to consumables for a while.
Consumables, right.
And then we thought, you can't really buy back the years.
No.
So we started purchasing, then this is for her parents.
Right.
We started purchasing dinner theater tickets where the 4 of us could go.
And they loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, they loved it because my dad would always say, they give us food too. And especially that generation.
But we got to spend time with them.
Yeah. And we did that for one of our sons too, with their kids. It was a Christmas show.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so much fun. Of course, this was before COVID hit. But it will be that way again. We have strong hope that it will be, and had a great time. And it just, you gather all together. Those are great little gift ideas, that little extra ideas. Also just for events that they may enjoy. Like one of our sons would enjoy like a craft beer. Maybe a couple of them would enjoy, a craft beer.
Yeah, so if they had if a craft beer place near you happens to be teaching people how to make craft beer, that would be a kind of a fun thing. Yeah. If your kids have hobbies, giving them a chance to pursue their hobbies at a higher level than maybe they are.
Right. Right. But it has to be kind of geared toward what they would like to do as well. And it's a little difficult with adult kids, and if they are married and you've got one spouse that likes one thing and one that would like another. That's a little harder, although that's where your events come in. Maybe you can, do, show tickets and things like that. But it might be different where you could get, you really wouldn't get ski tickets for, both of them or, something like that. But you could get, a night in a mountain cabin or, a little Airbnb or something like that, or a little destination that they could get away.
Right.
And that would be another little idea. And again, it depends on your budget and what, but again, also with when you are at the halftime or beyond, there's a little extra. You want to make sure that your savings and your finances are together. We've talked about that in a lot of episodes and how important that is. But what do you want to give your kids? You want to see them enjoy a certain amount now. And I think my parents really did that. They got such enjoyment. When my dad gave my two sisters and I a sewing machine, I was over the moon. And this was even toward more the beginning of our marriage, where I was sewing a lot of, curtains and the clothes for our boys. And they laugh about those clothes now, but all of that, it meant so much because I grew up making all my clothes and those sort of things. And it gave them such enjoyment to see that. And why are you just going to leave it in an inheritance? Give a little bit of something that you can enjoy, seeing your adult kids enjoy and prosper in, and whatever it is. Yep. I think that's a really kind of a big deal now and I really am thinking consumables because of after seeing all the body wash, although that's consumable, you'd think, but we've changed things a little bit. But we've talked about the dinner. I've got a couple notes here of just, maybe season passes, to some.
Yeah, things. So it would have been fun. We live near Disneyland, so it would have been fun to have season passes to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm when we were growing up.
We never.
We couldn't do that. Yeah. But you may live near something where some sort of season pass would be fun for the family to be able to go do anytime they want to.
Right.
So you're sort of enabling them to do something that maybe you weren't able to do when you were younger.
Yeah, and you get such joy of seeing their joy, out of being able to do that, and getting a couple just really different things. I mean, we even talked about flying lessons, and I'm thinking flying lessons, but they have these simulator flying lessons that aren't as much, and it's almost like a game. But it depends what you have around you.
Yeah, virtual reality has made flying simulators basically real.
Yeah.
And if you've got a small little local airport, they have got a simulator.
Probably,
and a husband and wife, it could be a great activity. You babysit the kids, send them off to the flight simulator, and it sounded like fun. In fact, we were thinking about doing it.
Yeah, I know.
So,
actually, I was thinking at one point of getting my pilot's license, but then I realized how much time it would take and how much work, and I thought, oh, okay. And then you gotta, think about renting the airplane, all of that stuff. So, because my dad flew for a while, so but that would have been, but a simulator would just be. It would probably make my stomach turn right now because I do so much on virtual reality. It wasn't quite like that when I was really thinking about it. So, but there are so many just little different ideas that you can do. And as far as grandkids and gifts to your adult children, if they do have children, I really try. We live local enough to one of our kids. So I really try to say yes to almost, if we can, watch them at any point as well. That's a gift to them. And getting some extra things that I can do with them that would be normally a little bit different. Like tomorrow, we got kind of a last minute request for two of the girls. And so I had gotten this cookie mix that's gluten-free because I know that's my daughter-in-law. With decoration stuff. So it's little things like that. That's part of giving all the way through the year. And when you think about ideas for holiday giving, don't just hold back just for that time. And it doesn't matter whether you're visiting them or whether you're or they're coming to you for a little bit, and just to have those little projects and things that they can do that just means a lot, throughout it just makes it fun. It makes it fun for you. I love to give anyway. It was just really fun. But to see then the joy and the relief on a mom that may be exhausted, with all of her stuff. So what are anything else that we can...
on season passes. So season passes can be theater passes for the the theater season. Mm-hmm. It could be a concert series. Mm-hmm. It could be how about a membership to a homeschooling conference? Not a conference, but most homeschool associations have memberships, and you pick up the dues.
Right. That's a big one right now because of some of the things going on in schooling, and you're thinking, I can't do that. I'd be overwhelmed. But there are some homeschools or charter schools that have levels or extra tutoring that you can do. Like, that's another idea too, is just pay for extra tutoring. We had one request of extra tutoring in reading. Reading is so very important. And if your kids are behind in that, they tend to be behind in almost anything. Yeah. So, and those decisions to where if you're afraid to send your kid in a classroom still with health reasons or some of the other restrictions, which there are a lot right now. There are a lot of things that are just being piled on, and some parents are just not comfortable with it. So to be able as grandparents or as those with your adult children to be able to help out in some of these areas, it brings joy to both sides, and it's a wonderful investment. Mm-hmm. I think. Mm-hmm. So definitely. Yep. Did you have some more expansion on the
I don't think so.
The levels of the membership level? There's a lot of memberships out.
Yeah, it depends on what your kids are interested in,
right.
But lots of times, if something is a hobby, there might be a group membership that they could join to pursue that hobby at a little bit deeper level, right. And that'd be fun.
And there are a lot of I know applying to women, but also as for men, for those interested in entrepreneurship that may have not been into that before, and there are courses. Be another idea to be able to invest in some sort of online course or training. A lot of online training right now of just you're able to do things almost anywhere around the world, right. And it's huge. That's what COVID has done for us. It's expanded. I do so many things now online, and you've expanded your ability to do this with all of the technology. And so anything else that you want to add on to this? I mean, these questions, though, to be able to start out with, I think are very, very important. And you should really deal with those of what Christmas means to you and your family. And I mean, you could be single parents. You could be, and you might be scraping along, but you might, I could give like $10 cyber coin, or I could give $100 or $50 or whatever. Right. And again, get somebody to help you figure that out. But what's their love language? That really is important. What would add joy and what would ease their life a little bit, because a lot of people are just working so hard, or they're bored. Some people are just bored right now too. What communicates that you've been at their stage of life, and just sitting with a conversation sometimes, and getting some consumables, get some, if they're coffee drinkers, tea drinkers, we've done that too, some special teas. Mm-hmm. And I've given, one of the fun things to give is a gift basket, just with foods that you think they would enjoy. Yeah. It was fun to do it myself, because I didn't just buy a pre-made one. I got things within that were just really fun to get for that person. I got, actually for couple of our peers, I got that, but also for our kids. It was
what were some of the things in last year's? So there was nuts, cheeses.
Yeah, olives, good olives.
Yeah, good olives.
Really good olives. If they're gluten-free, there's a lot of little gluten-free mixes. I've gotten that.
I think you put some teas in there.
Yeah, teas and just... There's a lot of little things. You can buy these pre-made too if you don't have a lot of time. But I love putting together little.
Yes, you bought a nice basket, and you had the clear.
Yeah, just easy. It's easy. It doesn't have to cost a whole lot. It does add up. So you just want to make sure. But go on sale.
But it's the basket's another way to communicate. You realize what their tastes are.
Yes.
What they enjoy.
Right.
And it communicates love.
It really does. It really does. So I hope you've really enjoyed this. Again, click on the article. There's always a link to the article if you look on where you've subscribed and on my blog, which of course is goalsforyourlife.com/blog, and you'll find all of these articles there, weekly articles. I've done this for 20 years. I'm afraid to say how long because I'm just going to sound really old. But now that you know we're really old because we do have adult children, so we've already got past that. Next week, don't miss this. I am talking about dealing with the challenges of technology. And there are a lot of people that are dealing with this challenge. And in fact, it really brought it to home right now because, I've been appearing on a lot of different podcasts lately for my new book out, The Summit. And I was just on one. We had a great session. And the producer on their end contacted me and said, for some reason, it just didn't record. It
happens to everybody.
It doesn't matter what your level. They're saying, we've done so many hundreds of these. And I said, you know what? You're talking to the right person because I've been in this field for a very long time. Technology happens. I said, I'll rebook it. We'll redo it. Let's just, it's extra time. I had to schedule it in, but it's just, what comes around, it's just going to happen. It's happened to me. It doesn't matter almost what it is. It's just happened. Something weird has happened.
So they can all learn from your experience.
They can, you guys, but I'm going to give you some tips as well, and on testing and all of that, and how you need to just put in the reps. And so we're going to talk about that next week. Feel free to subscribe always, so you get these every week, and sign up for my newsletter. You'll get that link also on womenathalftime.com. You'll get all of that. And would love you to refer this to some of your friends. It's one of the best ways to grow a podcast as well. It's just to refer it, say, I think you'd enjoy this particular episode, or just click in once a month because you get to see these guys together. That's fun. So, but I do bring in a guest once, and I've got some great ones coming up. So you don't want to miss that, once a month. And then I speak a couple times a month as well. So thanks so much again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on Women at Halftime. Visit goalsforyourlife.com or womenathalftime.com for many more resources, downloads, and programs, or to get in touch with me. I'd love it if you leave me a review and tell your friends. So until next time, this is Deborah Johnson, signing off.